The emotional reaction of humans upon discovering and truly understanding nature is to respect and even love the wildlife and plant forms that share the earth. This can lead to the practical realization that a balance between consumption and preservation of the wild is for the good of both humans and the wild. But there is an imbalance. An imbalance weighted on the side of rapidly expanding human population, not on the side of moose, elk, or hawk.
This demonstration is just one of the many ways that people visiting the Minnesota Zoological Garden learn about the wild. Hello, I'm Ted O'Brien. Like other Minnesotans, I'm very excited about this place. In just a few short years, the Minnesota Zoo has become a major state resource and attraction, as well as an internationally acclaimed center for zoological research, conservation, and education. It's a special community composed of animals, scientists, keepers, and people like ourselves.
The Minnesota Zoo is what zoophiles call a new zoo. It incorporates a variety of innovative animal and plant display and support concepts. Animals are shown in settings which reflect their natural habitat and stimulate natural activity. These Asian wild horses, for example, socialize in their large zoo pasture much as their ancestors did across Europe and Asia. And these beaver live and work as if they were in a northern Minnesota stream. Siberian tigers, like many other species at the Minnesota Zoo, live in breeding groups. In fact, one of the Minnesota Zoo's most important missions is the breeding of animals which have already or are about to disappear from their natural homes. That is why ISIS was created by the Minnesota Zoo. ISIS, the International Species Inventory System, is a self-supporting computerized data bank, helping zoos throughout the world to effectively breed animals threatened with extinction. Happily, the Minnesota Zoo has had some notable successes.
It's so often in cats they lose their first litter, or at least they have problems with it. And she has done a perfectly professional job with these 3 cubs, even though they are her first litter.
Brad House heads the biological programs at the Minnesota Zoo. He represents the high degree of commitment, integrity, and professionalism of the entire zoo staff. A staff which has developed what is considered to be the most technically efficient, scientific, and humane animal and plant support system in the zoo world. With over 280 animal species and associated plant life from diverse but specially selected ecosystems, the behind-the-scenes operation is oddly alien to an Arctic Ocean or an Asian rainforest.
But the net effect of all the pipes, pumps, gauges, and monitors for people like ourselves is, yes, an increased understanding and respect for nature. And with a little concentration and hardly any imagination at all, we can enter some very special worlds. know, this Minnesota Zoological Garden was born out of nearly 3 decades of thought and planning by individuals acting through the Minnesota Zoological Society and the Citizens League in alliance with the Metropolitan Council and state government.
The zoo exists because of the efforts of the citizens of the state of Minnesota in convincing the state legislature that one of the cultural attributes this state must have is a major zoological garden.
No legislative project in the history of Minnesota has had such a broad base of support as this one had. We had literally thousands of people backing this idea, going to the legislature, urging their approval of it.
John Tilton and James Hetland are among the original advocates for the zoo. With legislative approved bonding in 1973, a generous gift of land from Dakota County, and the hiring of a highly qualified design team and management staff headed by Donald Bridgewater, the new zoo gradually took shape in Apple Valley. Interest in the great adventure ran high as exhibits were completed and exotic and native plants and animals were acquired and given new homes.
Since opening week ceremonies in May of 1978, excitement still runs high. Attendance continues to increase, and so does an appreciation of the philosophy that underlies the Minnesota Zoo.
A zoo releases a particular kind of behavior. It releases a behavior of surprised affection.
Edward Cohn is general director of the Minnesota Zoo.
You see it in the faces of people as they move through the place with a recharged appetite to join in the great process of getting on with the fulfillment of the dream.
Supported by a full-time staff of over 160 and nearly 200 part-time volunteers, he is directly accountable to the Minnesota Zoological Board.
The board was created by the state legislature in 1969 and is appointed by the governor. It receives general funds from the legislature and ensures that the zoo operates within state regulations and budgets. Under the advisement of the general director, the board also establishes guideline policy for the zoo.
One of the basic tenets of zoo policy calls for serving the needs and interests of Minnesotans throughout the state. To date, the track record is exemplary.
Between 30 and 35,000 quills on their body.
During the zoo's first 2 years, more than 200,000 students from over 90% of Minnesota's counties participated in zoo educational activities. Moreover, the zoo visit is enhanced with a battery of intriguing yet educational services. Only the San Diego Zoo surpasses the size and reach of the Minnesota program. But when distilled into its purest form, the Minnesota Zoo experience is unsurpassed. It's a one-to-one awareness.
The Minnesota Zoo will continue to be funded primarily by the people of Minnesota through their state government. However, the importance of contributions from individuals, corporations, and foundations in helping the Minnesota Zoo meet its future responsibilities is paramount.
It's essential that the zoo's first phase, at a minimum, be completed. That means that the Northern Trail must be financed and built. The dollars for those the financing for that next phase must come from the private sector as well as the public sector. It's a partnership between the state of Minnesota and the business corporations and the foundations and the individuals who believe strongly in the total mission for our zoological garden.
It is through the Minnesota Zoo Foundation that this crucial support is allied with the support of the people of Minnesota. It's an alliance for a very special community. This zoo, this mission, our future. I'm Ted O'Brien.